Hello and welcome back. This is Kristen from Life of Crafting, and this is part 4. This is going to be the final episode of this Christmas Memories designed by Becky Fleck Moore for Photoplay. This was an older pack. I've done obviously 3 prior segments for this pack, and I still have some here. I probably could bang out another 8 or 9 cards, but I'm going to tell you, I'm getting frustrated with myself. I'm getting a little, I guess, bored is the way I would say it. And I'm happy with the cards and the designs, but there's just some elements of each that I'm just like enough. So you got to know when to call it quits. And we'll go through these. So I didn't have a lot of full paper packs left. I did have, I think, some ones with a little bit taken out. I think I may have had 1. So that was what led me to start with, I had 1 left, and I started with these ones here. And I pulled in a cardstock that I had, and the lighting at first looked like it was more goldenrod than it is. And this was a Stampin' Up! Paper, and I think it was like Daffodil Delight or something. So it was just too bright, but I had already put it down on top of these cards, and I was like, what do I do now? Well, then I started to try and use up the sticker pack that I've shown. And you know what? I'm really not a fan of stickers. After I got them down, I was like, ooh. So I tried, putting something big in the center. This was one I was really, the start of it, and I was like, really, I did not like that. So I tried to kind of clean it up, but it just didn't work. And I did stick some gold foil stars. I've told you before, I have a bunch of the stars that I hit whenever I get a chance. If I'm using glitter and there's like just a small enough section, I punch them out and I throw them in this so I have them to use when I'm ready. So I threw them on there, but these aren't really my favorite. I used a Queen & Company sketch for these. This particular sketch was sketch number 33 for them. And if you look at their site, I will have these on my website. They do put these little numbers in there telling you which foundation die they came from. Some of them, like the hearts, I don't really know where that came from. I don't think I have it. It just says L. I'm sure that has some significance to them, but I wasn't planning on doing that anyway. So that was the first design. I got 6 of them out of the page that I had because this is less. I think I just had to cut them on 4 inches to get these, so I could get that off the 1 sheet. Then I moved into this design, and this design is design number 3 from Queen & Company. And I went with this design because I wanted to use some of the cut-aparts that was on the front. And they have this big square here, and I thought, I'm going to put my cut-apart there. I can use the sentiment, and I'll, kind of go with this. They had a scalp piece over here. They got like an SB on that. I'm not exactly sure what that meant. But I had a scalp punch. It was an old one from, I don't even know if it was Stampin' Up, Martha Stewart, something. So this is what I came up with. And what I wound up finding was I had enough cut-aparts that had some kind of sentiment on them to begin with that I didn't have to add a sentiment. So I started with the 25s. I had like 2/3 of a sheet of the holly paper. So I thought this was a really good one to use up that big chunk of it. And I did bring in some of these Love from Lizzie peel-offs in her pinstriped. And it's like a gold. It's almost like a matte gold finish. It was really pretty. I've had these for a while. I've seen Christy Marcotte talk about them, and I had tried them at one point, and then I never got them out. So I thought this would be good, so I can just put them down the side of this stitched piece just to add a little bit of bling. And I had the stars out, so I just threw some on there. That's how I wound up going with that. And I put the scallop for me behind because I was using up some thin scraps I had of this burgundy paper, and it just, I couldn't get the edge, truthfully, I couldn't get the edge straight from one end to the other. So I just hid it all behind that layer, and there we go. Obviously the die, if I had the die, it would have cut them perfectly to fit, but again, I don't have it, so that's what we went with there. Then the last thing I used was this one here. And I was starting to get into like trying to find ways to use the scraps up. And I rolled with this sketch from Queen and Company that's number 54. And I have not used this before. And I'll be honest, this is a really good one for using up those like strips that have probably about, let me see, this is probably about 1.5 inches. An inch, yeah, 1.5 inches wide. So you'd probably need like 1 3/4 to get them cut out. But that I thought was a great sketch, but after I started rolling with it, I really wish I had gone with the cream color on the paper versus the white, because that's just too bright for me. I was trying to use up this linen ribbon I had from Stampin' Up, so I was happy to get rid of that. I liked this design until I got to the sentiment, and I really was like thinking it needs more. The sentiment was one I had gotten from Recollections, and I'm not happy with it at all. I inked it up. I tried doing different inks with it. It was just not taking ink. And honestly, it's in my pile to be donated at this point. So I just said, let me see how I can fix this. I'm wanting to use up the ribbons I have, so I threw some of that on there. Then I started using some diamond dots that I had. The stars came out, and I just can't get away from thinking how boring this sentiment part is, and it's not the color I want. But I'm done. This is where I said, like, you got to know when to call it, and I'm calling it. So here's what I have. Oh, and then I pulled out the sticker sheet, and I'm like, you know, there's some really cute stuff on here I still would like to try to use up. So I got my envelopes out, and I threw some on my envelopes. I did have the border down here. I started cutting them apart. I was going to put them on some of my envelopes. I started just using some of the bigger elements up on my envelopes. I have just, you know, some different bigger pieces. And then there was a piece up here that was a, like, another border. I cut it in half and just put them on the back. I thought that was really cute. I could have punched out all the little pieces in between, but it was going on an envelope. I figured, you know what, I'm not getting to, you know, overthinking this. I do still like the postage stamps that are on here. I think I would like to use that. So I didn't want to get too confusing putting them on an envelope. I know it should seem like pretty simple if I put them down in the bottom, that people should know they still have to put an envelope or a stamp on the envelope, but I don't want to confuse anybody. So I'll have to probably, I don't know if I'm even going to bother. I may just donate this, put this in a pile to donate like to the school, and I'm sure the kids would just love doing stuff with stickers, at least the preschool age. I know my son was very into his stickers and stuff. So that's going in the donate. This is trash. I was trying to keep it, thinking I may cut some of this stuff out, but you know what? I'm done. It's going in the trash as we speak. I had put all this in my folder, so I will save that for something else. And here's what I have left for paper. I have the biggest piece being 6 of the cut-aparts. So that's where I'm feeling like I could easily get probably at least another 6. Oh, wait, here's a 7th one. I could easily do something with those, but honestly, like I said, I'm done. I've got 1 strip left of the stripes and the, whatchamacallit, those soldiers. 2 partials of the Santa that was cut aparts. Some smaller, chunkier ones of the holly. There's no way I could use the back. And then just 3 of these with the ornaments, and I think there was more cut aparts. So that's what I have left. I think I may just, like I said, throw this in for like a after school program type of thing in my area and call it a day. I thought about tags. Again, I'm done. So this wraps up the Christmas Memories paper pack from Photoplay. I am now calling it quits, and I will put in the description how many I totally got, because I don't recall how many were in the other 3 segments. But I'm going to say probably out of this, and this wasn't even like a full 12 sheets. I think it was only 8, if I remember correctly, with the 9th being the sticker sheet. I'm surprised. I bet you I got at least like 40 cards out of this. But I'll go back and I'll tally it up, and then you can see the description down below for how many I got. Appreciate some thumbs up if you got any inspiration out of this, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.